Item 302. Aggregates for surface treatments. 1. Description. Furnish aggregate for surface treatments in conformance to the type, grade, and surface aggregate classification, SAC, shown on the plans. 2. Materials. Furnish uncontaminated materials of uniform quality throughout that meet the requirements of the plans and specifications. Notify the engineer of all proposed material sources and of changes to material sources. The engineer will designate the sampling location. 2.1 Aggregate. Stockpile aggregates for each source and type separately. Do not add materials to approved stockpiles without the approval of the engineer. Furnish aggregate of the type shown on the plans and listed in Table 1. Use TEX 100E material definitions. Table 1. Aggregate types. Type and material. Type A is gravel, crushed slag, crushed stone, or limestone rock asphalt, LRA. Type B is crushed gravel, crushed slag, crushed stone, or LRA. Type C is gravel, crushed slag, or crushed stone. Type D is crushed gravel, crushed slag, or crushed stone. Type E is aggregate as shown on the plans. Type L is lightweight aggregate. Type PA is precoat gravel, crushed slag, crushed stone, or LRA. Type PB is precoat crushed gravel, crushed slag, crushed stone, or LRA. Type PC is precoat gravel, crushed slag, or crushed stone. Type PD is precoat crushed gravel, crushed slag, crushed stone. Type PE is precoat aggregate as shown on the plans. Type PL is precoat lightweight aggregate. Ensure the aggregate gradation meets the requirements in Table 2 for the specified grade, unless otherwise approved. Furnish aggregate that meets the requirements shown in Table 3, unless otherwise shown on the plans. Furnish LRA in accordance with DMS 9210, limestone rock asphalt, LRA, when used. Provide aggregates from sources listed in the department's bituminous rated source quality catalog, BRSQC. Use material not listed or not meeting the requirements of the BRSQC only when tested by the engineer and approved before use. Allow 30 calendar days for testing of material from such sources. Provide aggregates for final surfaces that meet the SAC shown on the plans. Do not blend to meet the SAC. The SAC requirement will apply only to the aggregate used on the travel lanes unless otherwise shown on the plans. The BRSQC lists the SAC for sources on the Aggregate Quality Monitoring Program, AQMP. Table 2. Aggregate Gradation Requirements, Cumulative Percent Retained 1. See Table in Specifications. 1 Round test results to the nearest whole number. 2 Single size gradation. Table 3. Aggregate Requirements. See Table in Specifications. 2.2 Precoating. Precoat aggregate uniformly and adequately with asphalt material to the satisfaction of the engineer when shown on the plans. Specific aggregates may be prohibited from being precoat when shown on the plans. Meet Table 2 and Table 3 requirements before precoating. Furnish precoat aggregate that spreads uniformly using approved mechanical spreading equipment. The engineer retains the right to select a target value for the desired percent by weight of residual bitumen coating on the aggregate. Furnish precoat aggregate that is within plus or minus 0.3% of the target value when tested in accordance with TEX 236F. The engineer may require trial batches to assist in selecting the target value. The engineer retains the right to remove precoat material from aggregate samples in accordance with TEX 236F and test the aggregate to verify compliance with Table 2 and Table 3 requirements. Gradation testing may be performed with precoat intact. 2.2.1 Asphalt material. Precoat the aggregates with asphalt material that meets the requirements of Item 300, asphalts, oils, and emulsions. Use any asphalt material that meets the requirements of Item 300, asphalts, oils, and emulsions, unless a specific precoat material is specified on the plans. 2.2.2 Additives. Use the type and rate of additive specified when shown on the plans. Add in accordance with item 301, asphalt anti-stripping agents. Use TEX 530C for verification during production testing unless otherwise directed. 3. Equipment. Manufacture pre-coat aggregate in a mixing plant that produces uniformly coated aggregate. 4. Construction. Deliver aggregate to the locations shown on the plans. Prevent segregation, mixing of the various materials or sizes, and contamination with foreign materials when aggregates are stockpiled. The engineer will reject contaminated stockpiles. Provide adequate initial cooling of pre-coat aggregate to prevent asphalt or aggregate damage due to excessive heat buildup in stockpiles. Limit stockpile height to 3 feet immediately after production when asphalt cement is the pre-coating material. Consolidate stockpiles after adequate cooling, as approved. The engineer will reject stockpiles showing evidence of damage due to excessive heat buildup. 5. Measurement and payment. The work performed, materials furnished, equipment, tools, and incidentals will not be measured or paid for directly but is subsidiary to or included under payment in other pertinent items.